What's going on YouTube? It's Darth Rubius, and the closed alpha for Invincible VS is officially over. We had a lot of fun this weekend playing the game, but I just wanted to come out and give my thoughts on the game, what I thought about it, specifically what I want to see changed, and what I want them to keep. So this video is going to be structured. I'm going to kind of give my top 5 things I want to see changed, and also my top 5 things that I want them to keep. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want changed is the ability to edit and change your key bindings for 2 buttons for heroic strike or push block or any of those 2-button inputs. When the developers were talking about this game before the closed alpha, they were talking about how it was originally an 8-button game and they were able to get it down to 6 buttons. This game is not a 6-button game. This game is like a 14-button game. You have light, medium, heavy, super, then you have ability button, you have boost, and then you have tag 1, tag 2, and then you also have heroic strike, super, push block, all these other things, right? So there are so many buttons, and for a regular PS5 controller, which is what I play on, there's not enough buttons on the controller. So they need to allow players to be able to edit those 2-button inputs, heroic strike, super, all that kind of stuff, to any kind of buttons we want. That would give us some flexibility because we're already using every single button on the controller to begin with. So that's the first thing right when I loaded up the game that I saw. And another quick note on that is blocking. Why do all these new fighting games have blocking to where you have to hold down and back? For somebody who plays on a D-pad, that is the most annoying, almost impossible thing to do. Half the time during my games, I'm holding down and back, and he's just crouched. He's just sitting there not blocking. Why can't down just be block low and back be block high? Why does it have to be in between? So that's some things I want to see change in regards to their controller layout and their key layout. So the next thing that I noticed kind of early on with the game is movement feels very, very slow. Dashing feels almost useless. Air dashes seem completely useless. Like Omni-Man's air dash is so slow. There were so many times I tried to dash and punish a move that somebody did or try to dash into my opponent's face, and it just takes forever, and then I get opened up because the dash took so long. So I'd like to see movement be a little quicker, a little more speed to the game. Maybe this is what they wanted. Maybe they want it to feel kind of slower, but it definitely felt much slower than even, say, MK1. Definitely was slower than 2XKO. Definitely slower than, say, like any of the Injustices. So I definitely like to see a little more movement in the game just to make the game flow and feel better. You know, Rex has a run, but it felt very buggy and it was almost difficult to cancel out of. I tried to do certain strings out of it or light or medium and it just wouldn't come out half the time. So they definitely could give every character a sprint, a run that Rex kind of has if they don't want to increase the individual dashes of each character. That could be something too. But even Rex's run still felt very buggy, which it's something they might smooth out in the future, hopefully. But yes, dashing felt very slow, almost felt useless at this stage of the game. So it's definitely something I want them to kind of take a look at and see if that's how they want the game to actually feel and actually play, or if they wanted it faster and they kind of just didn't see or understand yet just kind of how more slower the game felt compared to other fighting games that are out there. So another gripe, if you will, that I have with the game is that whoever lost a character first seemed to lose the match because they lost the ability to use those assists and they lost the ability to tag in. So I think going forward in the game that even if a character's knocked out, you should still have access to their 2 assist moves, their 2 or 3 assist moves. That way it makes the game feel not as whoever knocks out the first character automatically wins. Now, maybe that is what they want. Maybe they really want you to micromanage and be on top of your team and on top of your health, and there are a lot of defensive options to help keep your characters from getting TOD'd, touch of death, or to help keep your characters alive, right? But it still feels whoever gets that initial first knockout has just a significant, massive advantage. So that's something I'd like to see them potentially look at, maybe potentially change or run a trial in the future is, okay, characters knocked out, but they still have their assist that you can use even though they're knocked out. And the last thing I want to harp on about the game, I love the game, guys, but the last thing that definitely is, I think, the biggest problem right now is Cecil. Cecil is a menace. The fact that his light, medium, heavy all are kind of ranged attacks is insane. I felt like I could not hit this character when I was in his face. Then he has zoning, and he has go, that he can just spam the entire game, right? And granted, it doesn't do a lot on block, but if you have the lead, you could just teleport all across the map and just spam this move, and your opponents, I feel like, could never touch you. With the fact that movement's so slow, I could never get in against this character. This character is insane. I don't think we understand just how good Cecil is. Because I know there were other streamers I saw, they're like, I don't think Cecil's that great. They were struggling to use him. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Every time I play against this character, I felt like I lost and just got destroyed. So Cecil, I think, definitely needs some sort of rework or nerf. Because when playing against Cecil, it was the same feeling I got when I played against Dr. Fate or Starfire in Injustice 2. I felt, well, what's the point of playing anybody else if I could just sit here and spam zone all day and just win? And along with that, level 3s, supers, whatever you want to call them, ultimates, are insane. Especially Eve's, especially just every character super does way too much damage and is just absolutely insane. And I definitely think the damage needs to be toned down, because it's just, you just do light, medium, heavy into super or into ultimate, and you're doing like 60% damage, which is just absolutely crazy. So one thing in the game that felt very powerful was the ability to tag off zoning moves from full screen. There are definitely certain characters like Rex, like Cecil, for instance, that you could zone from full screen, and if you connected, you could tag and get a whole combo full screen. I think that's a little toxic of gameplay. I don't enjoy getting comboed from full screen. It almost feels like, you just sit full screen, you spam zone, you wait for one to hit, you tag in, you get a combo, you back up, you repeat. So I think they should have some sort of distance that you have to be within. And they could, there could be something on the screen that shows you whether or not you're close enough to tag in or not. To whereas if those moves hit, then you won't be able to tag in and get a full combo full screen, right? If you're already, you're already light, medium, heavy, and a super, you're already going to be close enough, so you're automatically going to be able to tag in. But it's the fact that certain characters can zone from full screen and get a tag, where you have characters like Battle Beast, for instance, who have no zone. And granted, he has armor and he's a very strong character, but he's not comboing from full screen. You gotta go in and open yourself up to your opponent's attacks, which is how the fighting game should be. You shouldn't be full screen comboing people. So I think that's just a bad thing to have in any fighting game. It encourages zoning, encourages people just to play like cowards and not actually play the game as it's intended. So that's something else I would like to see change in the future, is having some sort of distance to where you have to be within a certain range of your opponent to use a tag. All right, so now we're going to move into some positives about the game, because the game really was fun. And when I was playing it, I lost track of time. I just had a blast. Like, even for a tag fighting game, which other tag fighting games before I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, this game was fun. And it's not only because I love the TV show, but it just, the game was just, the graphics are super cool. Everything is just super cool about the game. And also the variety of characters and the moves that each character have. For a 3v3 tag fighting game, you're going to need a lot of characters so the game doesn't feel extremely repetitive, right? And for a closed alpha, 10 characters felt like more than enough. Every match wasn't the same 3 characters versus the same 3 characters, and every characters don't have the same moves. Even though they all have light, medium, heavy, and super, right? It all was different, and they all were very much a variety of different attack and play styles that made the game feel very unique and fun to play. So another part of Invincible Versus that I really liked was the combo fatigue mechanic, which is where as you would hit the enemy with a character, a bar would fill up on the screen, and if the bar filled up, the enemy would drop out of the combo. Now, what does this do? One, this prevents you from spamming the same thing over and over with the character, and you have combos that are 60, 70 seconds long that the opponent can't just do anything, right? So it prevents crazy long combos, which I think is very good. And number two, it forces you to use the tag system in the game, which for a tag game, there should be something that incentivizes you to tag. And I think this was a great way to do it. I know I've seen a lot of things about combo fatigue, how some people didn't like it, how some people felt, it kind of ruined the game. I think it was a great way to, one, implement the tag system, and two, help prevent a lot of the touch of death scenarios and help prevent a lot of 60, 70-second combos that, let's be real, nobody likes watching. I don't even like doing, because you have to memorize 800 inputs just to get one combo. Another good aspect that I found in Invincible Versus was the variety of defensive options that the game has. Utilizing a tag system in both offensive and defense is a very kind of neat feature, how you can heroic strike and tag and get a combo. Now, it does feel bad in some instances, and I can understand people's kind of frustration with it, but I think it kind of adds that hidden layer, that mind game to when do I tag, when do I not want to tag? Is my opponent going to heroic strike? Are they going to tag you on that heroic strike? And counter tagging, right? There's this whole nuances and layers to the game that once the game launches, I think we're going to see a very broad, very high complexity, very high skill ceiling that the pros are going to show us utilizing these features, right? I don't think they're necessarily features that everyone's going to be able to utilize effectively, but it'll definitely be cool to see, especially in the pro scene, in the competitive scene, how the players are able to capitalize and utilize heroic strike, push blocking, anti-tag, all that kind of stuff. So I definitely think there's a lot of potential there. I definitely think there's a lot of really cool mind games, a lot of really cool options you have, and things you can do with your resources to be able to counter what your opponent's doing. So another thing that I really need to talk about in this game is the graphics, the moves, the sound. The soundtrack is crazy. There's a lot of games where I want to listen to my own music when playing. I did not feel like this way at all. I wanted to listen to the soundtrack while playing this game. This soundtrack was awesome. The graphics were awesome. The netcode felt very good for a closed alpha. There were some connection issues, but honestly, not nearly as many as I thought there would be, and the game seemed to run very well. I was very impressed by how well the game run, considering this is kind of their first time that they had the servers online. Definitely was impressive. The graphics in the game, impressive. The gore in the game, we all love it. We're all here for it. Yeah, so just everything about the game, the way the game is made, the animating, the soundtrack, the graphics, the voice, the taunting that the characters do between each other, all of it was just very well done and just made the game so much more fun and enjoyable and brought the TV show to the game, which is a really cool and fun aspect to see. So the last thing I kind of want to touch on is my personal favorite character in the game, Rexplode. I think he was perfectly well done, a great combination of zoning. He has that overhead low mix up, or you can just go into the overhead or into the low. So I think Rexplode was the perfect character made in this closed alpha so far. He had the run, which gave him much better movement than I felt most of the cast had, maybe except for Invincible himself. But yeah, I definitely think Rex did not feel too overpowered, but he was definitely fun to play. He had flashy combos. He had a lot of really cool stuff, and I didn't feel like he was oppressive like Cecil Zoning was, or like Eve Super was, right? So I just wanted to say that Rexplode was my favorite character from the closed alpha, and hopefully I don't change him too much, because when the closed beta comes out, that's the character I'm going to be maining as my main again. So I love Rexplode. Hopefully he stays the same. Hopefully I don't change too much about him. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is kind of my 5 things that I would change and the 5 things I kind of liked about the game. This game is a lot of fun, and I would encourage anybody that if you didn't sign up for the closed alpha and you want to play it when the beta comes out, sign up for that closed beta, get involved, because this game was fun. I don't care what anybody else says. I had a blast playing it, and I'm sure you will too. It does take a little bit to get used to. There are a lot of buttons. that you have to try to get used to utilize. But if it feels like it's too much, just go off trying to learn one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't try to learn every single tactic and aspect in the game at once. Master one or two things first, and then add something to your repertoire, add something to your tool belt, and master that, and just keep adding. That's how you learn these kind of complex kind of fighting games. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Time for a lesson. I'm not even trying. Let's do this. Gotcha. Outstanding. Hey now. Got something for you. Stand aside. Come to me. We're not done yet. Exceptional. Here we go. Great. Coming in. I thought you were one of the good guys. Something for you. Stand aside. Glory awaits us both in death. Come to me. We're not done yet. Outstanding. Come to me. We're not done yet. Explosive. Aside. Impressive.